it was that high. You could literally swim in here.
Fred Drami says his parking lot and garage turned into a swimming pool for cars. As the remnants of Hurricane Ida pounded the city Wednesday night, gallons of water gushed in before he even knew what was happening.
In a matter of minutes, 3 minutes, it went from 3 inches to 5 feet.
And there's plenty of water left to pump out. Drami says the garage was packed with 200 cars inside. 20 of them were damaged and are inoperable. He doesn't know what to do next.
We couldn't even save all the cars. So we literally, we took so many damages, and our customers are threatening to sue us, which is understandable, but what can we do?
Just outside of the Riverdale parking garage, there are dozens of cars abandoned in the street. That's why tow truck driver William Mendoza says he's been going nonstop.
16 hours already.
Each day?
Yes.
The flow of traffic seems like it's back to normal on the major Deegan Expressway. But if you drive around, you may still see some abandoned cars. Traffic on the expressway was paralyzed by the waist-deep floodwaters, which left drivers waiting in their cars for help. By Friday afternoon, there were still plenty of vehicles on the side of the road. Some are covered in mud and debris, others with broken windows, a sign of the frantic rescue by emergency crews.
I'm really bewildered because I see that the windows are smashed in. They had to, I guess, smash their windows to get out. It's kind of scary knowing that.
Traffic officers have been leaving these stickers on the abandoned cars to keep them from getting fines until their owners can get them back. In the Bronx, Amy Yensi, New York 1.
Very much is a whole flooded.
The water that got into this car reached as high as the window. John Likey says as it was rising, his 19-year-old son was inside, stranded, helpless, and afraid.
He was very panicked after, he moved out from the car. So he goes like, what I should do is call cops. He tried to call the cops as much as he could, but there was no response at all. So I told him to get out of there. He was panicked all night last night, so.
Unable to get to his son because he too was stuck in Yonkers, a friend came to the teen's rescue. The remote street near the Bruckner Expressway still littered with abandoned cars as Likey returned to get whatever belongings were not soaked by the floodwater. A tow truck is not available for the next few days because of the demand. The disastrous weather that hammered the city, knocking down trees, snapping them into pieces. The heavy and fast-falling rain gushed into basements.
The flooding, honestly, I think it was unexpected for a lot of people. It's sad, that we had a couple people that lost their lives. But I mean, at the end of the day, I feel that the city has to do better, just in terms of planning and kind of predicting what the outcome of this would be.
And in the Morris Park neighborhood, some residents were without water and gas for hours after part of their street collapsed. Emergency crews responding to a massive sinkhole that officials say was caused by a water main break. The gaping hole on Radcliffe Avenue was inches away from swallowing a car parked on the street. The remnants of Hurricane Ida caused damage that will persist long after the storm.
They're not going to have water or gas for several days, perhaps weeks.
Some residents say they're grateful there was no loss of life here like in other boroughs, but are concerned about whether the city can handle another storm like this.
It's not the first and it's not going to be the last, unfortunately to say.
In the Bronx, Amy Yensi, New York 1. Salvatore Principe knows the name and background of every Italian American who has held office in New York and takes pride in all of them. That includes Andrew Cuomo.
You feel proud of the Italians. No matter what I got to do, politics is one thing. Respect a person. If he needs you to be respected, is something else.
He puts politics aside when Italian heritage is brought into the picture. He and his friends get together at the Bronx Italian American Cultural Association several times a week to catch up. They take particular pride in Andrew Cuomo's father, Mario, the first Cuomo to govern the state, rising to political prominence at a time when Italians face discrimination. Anthony Tamburi is the dean at the John D. Calandra Italian American Institute at Queens College.
And there were actually work ads, the end of the 19th, early 20th century, that would say no coloreds or Italians need apply.
He says early Italian immigrants were treated as second-class citizens. Mario Cuomo dealt with the residues of prejudice.
He was number one in his class when he graduated from law school, and yet he couldn't get a job in a Manhattan law firm. And so it wasn't easy at all for him.
Not easy, but Mario Cuomo made it look that way, inspiring Americans with his oratory skills.
But there's another city. There's another part to the shining city.
It gave us symbolism. It gave us something to think about, something to look forward to. It gave our youth something to look and say, we could do.
They say Mario set the bar high, but believe Andrew Cuomo could have gone on to higher office, if not for the accusations of sexual harassment, which they have a hard time understanding.
What we used to do 20 years ago and see someone, you would kiss them on the cheeks, you can't do that anymore. It seems to be some sort of taboo.
While Andrew Cuomo's time in office is being cut short, and he won't have completed a third term like his father, Italian Americans here say that won't have any impact on the good that has been done by the Cuomo family.
That's a chapter in the history of Cuomo that is currently being written, but by all means I don't think will in any way, shape, or form, and it really shouldn't reflect on Mario Cuomo and his legacy.
Only time will tell what Andrew Cuomo's political fate will be. But many Italian Americans here say his last name carries a lot of weight, and they wouldn't be surprised to see him or another Cuomo hold political office in the future. In the Bronx, Amy Yensi, New York 1. And it's not just basketball courts. There are several initiatives to give young people safe spaces to be this summer and help bridge the gap between police and the communities they serve. As part of the kids' if he had to choose what to have for lunch, Jeremy Batista says there's only one option.
I love chopped cheese. I have one every day if I could.
The gooey, cheesy, flavorful sandwich known as the chopped cheese gained popularity at bodegas in Harlem and has become a staple at grocery stores in all 5 boroughs.
That's the original chopped cheese. That's ground beef, American cheese, salt, pepper, ketchup, mayo, lettuce, tomatoes on a roll.
Batista grew so enamored with chopped cheese, he started to create different versions of it at home. The self-described foodie also worked as a food photographer for city restaurants. Then he got the idea to break out on his own, with the help of his family buying his very first food truck just a week before the pandemic started. His dreams put on pause, but now he's living out those dreams with the bodega truck.
A lot of bodegas around New York are slowly getting modernized, or you don't see the classic bodega vibes.
He wanted to have everything very New Yorkish. So he has a Tim's, he has a pigeon, he has a cat that when you go to a bodega, there's always a cat in the, in the bodega sitting on bread.
And there are different types of chopped cheeses concocted here, each with Batista's secret recipes and unique names.
I got the schmegular yesterday, so it was pretty, I love the names that they came up with here.
Customers can track down the location of the restaurant on wheels on its Instagram page at bodega.truck. Batista comes from a family of food vendors and is hoping to build on that tradition with more food trucks in the future. In the Bronx, Amy Yensi, New York 1.